Hey folks, welcome back to America's Worst Podcast. I'm Austin Q. Today we have the very lovely Nala Wall. Nala, thank you very much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
Nala here is 2 years, if I'm correct, been doing a roller derby.
Right.
And roller derby, from what I know of, is it's just basically it's like a derby that mainly females compete in. And it's inline or just regular old rollerblades, or does it matter? Or?
It's specifically quad skates, so the
quad skates.
Four
okay.
lined up.
All right, and so you're 21 now, right?
Right.
And you've been doing it since you were 19.
Right.
So why did you start doing the derby?
The Whip It movie, honestly, kind of was a fun vibe, and I didn't really know what it was really like, so that was a fun representation of it. And then the local team here, my mom is actually one of the founding skaters, so it's just kind of always been there as an option, and when I was finally old enough, just...
So here in Yuma, how long has the team been around?
At this point, like 6 or 7 years.
And what's the name of the team again?
Bordercity Rollergirl.
Bordercity Rollergirls, huh?
Just BCRG for the most part.
BCRG. All right. So, are there any competitors still in it that have been doing it since the beginning, or?
I think we have one original.
One original?
Like, who kind of comes in and out when she can.
Okay. All right.
No, other than that, no one's left. We have a lot of military girls. So.
Military gals? So like actually like spouses of Marines, or
yeah.
or actual used to be service women,
Both.
or still are service women? Okay. All right, because in Yuma there is a Marine Corps base here. There's a lot of spouses here. There's a lot of all sorts of people here. But you wouldn't think to find in this small town, like a derby team or anything like that. Who do you compete against?
There's a lot of Southern California teams because there's a lot more population over there.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of taken off there. And we travel a lot. We have a lot of people come over here when we can host and it's not so hot. And
so okay. All right, that's cool. So how often do you guys compete? Like once a month, or is there like a tournament like a state tournament or a national tournament?
There are championships every year. We are nowhere near on that level.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like an actual league, the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. They air their championships on ESPN3 every year, and
okay,
it's like a legit thing. We're getting there.
All right. So what would be like the grand prize besides the title of being the best in the country?
I think some teams get monetized, but mostly it's just for fun. A lot of teams are bi-skaters, four-skaters, who are just out there having a good time, feeling empowered.
That's cool. All right. So did this start in the USA, do you know of, or is this like a sport that came from Germany, or?
Originally it was, the original thing that it came from was like post-World War II. There was this event where pairs of skaters would skate around a track for days until there were one team left.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like a kind of a thing. They traveled around, and then it kind of dawned on the big money makers that people in the audience loved the violence. They liked the contact. They liked to see people getting knocked out, and it evolved into the Derby of the 70s, which was really theatrical, where it's just girls in hot outfits and these hilarious little useless pads, like throwing elbows and having these really theatrical falls.
Okay, all right. So it's not like that on a daily basis when you go to compete or when you go to play around. No one's elbowing each other in the face or pushing each other, or cat fights every few minutes.
No, Whip It kind of like is based on the revival of Derby, which started like around early 2000s, I think, where it really started to become a sport, and there really were outlined rules. There's very strict rules about how we can have contact, where we can touch somebody, how we can touch someone, what direction we're going in when we touch them. What I really like about it is that anybody can do any part of it. We have girls of all shapes and sizes, all ages, who can do any position. If you're good at endurance, you can jam and go around the track and try to score points. If you're fast, you could be a blocker who could stop, a really agile jammer. Or if you're big, you could be someone solid to hold your wall together.
Okay. So it's all just teamwork, pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a lot of teamwork.
Okay.
Working together is pretty crucial.
All right, so you can't have like that Michael Jordan or that like that special character who just does everything by themselves or scores all the points. It's all really in the team's.
Yeah, I mean, you can
grasp.
have an all-star, somebody who's like, oh, this person can do these cool tricks in the middle of a jam, like do really great footwork or throw in a jump somewhere where you wouldn't think you'd be able to. But as a sport, it's very team-oriented.
Is there like a lot of like punk rock chicks that do it and everything, or like?
I mean, there's kind of a vibe when we like go out into the world as a team. We're like, okay, dress roller derby, like put your fishnets on and
all right,
get
that's
out
cool.
there.
That's cool. So you just dress sexy wherever you go, pretty much.
We try to get people to look at us.
Oh, that's great. There's a team of about 10 girls, if I'm assuming, or?
There's 10 girls. You've got 5 girls from each team, 4 blockers, 1 jammer. Essentially, the jammers behind the walls of blockers that line up here, they've got the stars on their helmet, and their job is to score points by passing members of the opposing team. So they're trying to fight to get through this pack of girls, and the first jammer to get through gets lead jam, so they have the power to then call off the jam at any point, which is where the 2 minutes or less comes in.
Where the 2 minutes or less comes in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then after you establish lead, you start scoring points by passing girls. And as blockers, you're trying to stop the opposing girl from passing your body and get your jammer through and past everyone else.
Okay, so what was the most points you've ever scored?
I'm not a great jammer,
No.
so not a lot. Maybe like 10 or 15.
Okay, so like now that you've been doing it for about 2 years, what's your like favorite position? What's your favorite time of the game, in your opinion? Like, what's your main moment in the game?
I like the outside line. Like, there's usually 4 girls lined up, and I like to be on that outside position. I like to kind of be able to watch the whole track and be able to jump around if I need to. And we have a really great skater who is able to do apex jumps.
Apex jumps, huh?
Which is like, there's that first turn, the turns around the track. If there's girls standing there, there are some people, if they're fantastic, like this girl is, who can just jump over that turn and bypass the wall entirely.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
and stay in
pretty
bounds.
wild. So is there a lot of like training that needs to be done for it?
Yes. Most girls who start don't even know how to skate. Like, I had no idea how to skate. I'd never been on wheels before in my life, and I was actually very uncoordinated and didn't really think that it was something I was going to be able to do long term. But you have to go through a boot camp, first of all, to learn basic safety skills, how to fall right, how to be agile on your skates without like breaking your ankles, and then after a few months of boot camp, you take a minimum skills test, which goes over all of those falls, jumps, certain maneuvers that you have to be able to do, footwork, stepping.
Okay. Is there any particular group you're trying to attract to the derby, like girls that just got out of high school, or maybe women in the military, or just anyone who wants to compete?
Anyone who wants to compete. We've actually recently, we're starting to open up co-ed too, so guys can start coming in.
So is it common to see guys on the track?
Oh yeah, co-ed is super common. Like the championships are women's as far as I understand, but there's lots of co-ed out there just for fun, like a lot of the teams by skaters for skaters.
Okay, cool. Have you ever tried doing it inline, with inline blades, or is it just a no-no?
I have never tried inline. I have no desire to try inline. They just seem very unstable and scary.
Is there like an ice team yet? A derby team that does it on ice skates, or is it all just roller right now?
Right now, I mean, it's just us right now on our skates. There's like some hockey teams in town that do inlines, but for us it's quads.
Quads, all right. And you said that you just started skating when you joined the derby team?
Yeah, I went through boot camp. I had never been on skates, and they taught me how to skate.
Okay, all right. What's the scariest thing about competing in roller derby?
I think getting over the jitters and just kind of getting out of your head, because a lot of it can be practice. You're training these skills, and then you get out there on the track with these. I mean, you get used to skating with the girls on your team, and then suddenly there's this unfamiliar force that you have to literally stop.
Yeah.
And just getting out of your head, and that can be pretty rough feat.
So, is it like you're nervous, kind of like you're getting into a fist fight almost? Like you're kind of shaky, you're like quivering a little bit, like you're that nervous when you're competing? Was that what it was like the first time?
You kind of have to. You have to like kind of hype yourself up. Like, okay, I gotta get my adrenaline going, because like you're out there taking hard hits, so you have to be mentally in it, and then also physically ready to just take some big ass girl who's coming at you.
So, do you plan on keep on like competing? Do you plan on stopping anytime soon? Are you moving? Or are you gonna stick around in Yuma and stay with the team?
Myself, I'm kind of here in Yuma for a while. We got another boot camp coming up pretty soon, probably after the new year. I'm actually going to be in charge of that this year, so we'll see how that goes.
You're going to be in charge of the boot camp?
Yeah, so...
Okay, alright.
Come on out.
Alright, so you're not going to haze anybody too hard?
Oh, well, yes, there will be hazing.
Oh, okay. You can look forward to hazing if you're thinking of joining. Those that are watching, if anyone would like to join, what would be the best way to contact you guys?
Anywhere. We have a website, Bordercity Rollergirls.org, I think, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, anywhere. If you Google us, if you put any effort into looking for us, you'll find us.
All right. And who is the team captain?
We're kind of like a collective for the most part, but we have two people who really put the most effort into it, I think, in organizing, and that's Jackknife Dolly and Scarlet Stitch.
Scarlet Stitch and Jackknife Dolly. Those are some pretty cool names. So, is there anything you'd like to let our viewers know about roller derby that we haven't covered, or any advice you could give to someone who's thinking about doing it? Or maybe any myth out there that you'd like to kill?
The myth is that it's super hard and that it's like unobtainable. Anyone can do it at all. We have no one who came in with prior skating knowledge, almost no one. So for the most part, if you want to try it, then you absolutely can. And even if you didn't want, like, if you're scared of contact, then we have referee positions. There's other ways to get involved if you're just interested in derby itself.
All right, okay. All right, folks, that's all of it. Again, this is America's Worst Podcast. Nala, thank you for joining me today. Much appreciated. I'm Austin Q. We'll see you next time.